So there's just been an eclipse of the sun 2 weeks after the eclipse of the moon. With this eclipse is a bit like the end of time, which is to do with perception. By which I mean the stuff that one holds on to from the past is a lot to do with what creates time. And with this eclipse, it's a good time to let go of what one has been holding on to from the past that isn't really serving one, as in one's delusions, one's remainders, one's divisions. Anyway, and that sentence makes sense within a bigger sentence. And the bigger sentence is maybe back around May sometime, there was a moment where Saturn and Neptune were getting closer and closer to being right conjunct with each other. And they got almost within like a half a degree of each other, and then they started to move apart again. And that represents where the reality and the dream almost become united. And they almost synchronized, and then they started to draw apart again. And when they will finally conjunct and synchronize is in February, 20th February 2026. And so what almost came together by May, what had been building up for the last year up until May, that then has been drawing apart a little bit and is now drawing together again. All of which is happening at the last degree of the zodiac and the first degree of the zodiac. So at the very end and the very beginning. So the dream that almost synchronized is now being, one is having to look over what didn't quite work, what kind of adjustments one needs to make in order to adapt reality, in order for the reality to fit with the dream, and to adapt the dream in order to fit with reality. So the heaven aligning with earth and earth aligning with heaven kind of thing. Not that heaven has the exact correct law and the earth must subdue to that law. No, it's a meeting in between things. So all the fundamental spiritualists are having to recognize that on some level the spiritual law is not quite correct. That the highest truth may well have to adapt itself to incorporate what actually is. I say that from the point of view of the judgment of light judging darkness, that darkness must give way to the light and all that stuff. And yeah, if you look at it that way, that's going to be the truth. But that's your personal way of looking at it. It doesn't mean it's really true. And everyone's talking about the left-right divide these days because everyone's been forced to look at the left-right divide these days because it's all over the news feeds that people are forced to look at because it's ubiquitous. You can't avoid the news. Even if you go into a shop, you're going to hear some stuff. If you speak to anyone, you're going to hear some stuff. And even in silence, one's going to pick up of it in your thoughts and intuitions and stuff because we are part of a collectively thing. But anyway, that's taking things to extremes. But that's my point, is about taking things to extremes. Whether it's extreme spirituality or extreme materialism, somewhere is the osmosis where the inner meets the outer. Where the church is a circle, is a circus with an inner and an outer kind of thing. So ones and zeros is like right and left. The left is a bit like the whole, and the right is a bit like the upstanding, this is the only one truth. The right is like a penis, and the left is like a vagina kind of thing. It's just symbolic. I don't mean that to be taken too literally, but that's literally why I'm saying look at the symbols and recognize the stuff in oneself if you want to. Well, I am just suggesting anyway, this is a darn good time to reassess one's dreams and to let go of what is not real, of what is delusional, of what has been shown to not particularly work, of what is harming yourself or others, of what is divisive, of what is whatever, So there's an idea anyway. Basically, whatever one is seeing that is poisoning one's own cup, whatever one is seeing that is making oneself depressed or schizophrenic or out of your body or doing your body or oversleeping or not sleeping enough or whatever the extremes are, it's good to find one's center and recognize just being sometimes. It's good to allow oneself to be able to sleep at night. It's good to let oneself wake up in the morning and not just have all the past flood one's brains with all the things I didn't do and all the things I have to do and all the things that someone else did and all the things I did to someone else and all that stuff. It's good to let the cup be empty, and it's good to let the cup overflow. It's not good to be the same thing all the time and to be stuck in a pattern. But even that not good isn't so bad, because even for those stuck in a pattern, myself included, even those stuck in a pattern, even that comes to the good, so to speak. Even that serves a purpose, so to speak, because you can recognize, oh, being in a pattern for too long becomes a constraint. Even too much of something becomes something that teaches, oh, yeah, even that's a lesson to learn. But anyway, there's the world. It's quite a beautiful looking image. Bye bye. Hey, Shadow. You getting the picture? Ha 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 ha.